Hello, and welcome to Analysing Shakespeare. In this video, I'll be going over how to analyse a Shakespeare extract, and what to look for, and how to use it effectively. So what should you be looking for in a Shakespeare extract? The first thing you should do is see when in the play the extract is from. Is it from the first act, the fifth act? Is it scene 1, scene 3, etc.? This will help you place the scene in the order of sequence in the play's context. Does the scene happen before or after a major event, such as a character death, a wedding, a betrayal, a betrothal, etc.? Keeping in mind the order of events can be key into understanding where characters are at this point in the play. The second thing you should be looking for is the characters who are in the scene and specifically who are speaking. Is the scene a singular monologue where one character is speaking and discussing the events and their own feelings? Or is it a scene with multiple characters in a successive dialogue? What is the significance of the characters that are there? And is the scene focused on a theme, a character in particular, or something else? The third thing you should look at is whether the extract is written in either prose or poetry. If it is written in prose, this will most likely be a scene with a multitude of characters. Is the dialogue quick successive? Is there a rhythm to it? Is the scene comedic? What effect does the prose have on the scene? If it is poetry, does the scene follow those poetic rules? Is there a rhythm? Is there a rhyme? How does the scene's writing style help the dramatics of the emotions of the characters, or highlight the dramatic events of the play? Again, for structure, look at how the extract has been built. Is it a succession of dialogue? Is it a quick in and out of characters coming and going? Or is it just one character stood on stage? Is it dramatic? Is it a monologue or a soliloquy? Is there rhythm? Is there a rhyme? You should next try to identify the theme. You may be asked about a specific theme. If that is the case, look and try to find that specific theme throughout the extract. If you haven't been asked about a specific theme, you may have been asked about a specific character. Characters tend to represent specific themes, such as the witches in Macbeth representing sin. So if you have an extract that focuses on those particular characters, you'll be able to glean what the theme may be. If you can figure out the theme from neither the question or the character, read through the extract and see if there's any particular moments where the theme comes across. For example, is there a specific moment where love is highlighted? Finally, try to find literary devices being used, such as similes, metaphors, repetition, oxymorons, hyperbole, etc., etc. This will help you with your quote analysis, and this will also help you in identifying themes if you have not already done so. Literary devices often representing themes that they're trying to get you to discuss. Now have a look at this extract from Act 1, Scene 1 of Romeo and Juliet. Feel free to pause the video and read through the extract. As said before, this scene is from Act 1, Scene 1 of Romeo and Juliet, and is a monologue by Romeo, which you can see at the bottom here. Knowing when this scene is from helps sequence what Romeo's emotions are at this point in the play. So we know at this point he has not met Juliet yet, but is still infatuated with Rosalind. This will help identify his emotions in the scene. Seeing as it's a monologue, we also know Romeo is the only speaker. This is not a dialogue between two people. This is just Romeo airing out his emotions at this point. The scene is also written in poetry, indicated by it both being a monologue, but also the rhythm in the play. So as you can see by the first line, the scene is written in iambic pentameter. Alas, that love whose view is muffled still. There is 10 syllables, 5 pairings of stressed and unstressed syllables, giving it that poetic rhythm. While there isn't a clear rhyming scheme, bits of rhyme are present throughout the monologue, particularly in the first and last lines. So still being rhymed with will, while discreet is rhymed with sweet. All of this indicating the poetic structure of the scene. All of this being able to tell us before reading it fully that the scene is dramatic and that his emotions are dramatic. So now identifying the theme, the scene is dramatic, let's try and figure out what the theme is. So you'll be able to see through various lines that Romeo is in a state of anguish. The repetition of "oh" in the middle showcasing his rising emotions. Oh, brawling love, oh, loving hate, oh, anything, of nothing first create, oh, heavy lightness, serious vanity. The repetition of the "oh" shows the anguish, not only its presence, but its increasing. By the time you get to heavy lightness, you can imagine Romeo screaming this line. We also know, because of when the scene is that he is in love with Rosalind, which we should also be context to his emotions at this point, which will be unrequited love. Again, this can be indicated at various points in this monologue. The first line saying, alas that love whose view is muffled. Love is not clear. It is muffled. It is not being felt by somebody here. The indication of the word alas being one of anguish. So as you can see, that this monologue is about unrequited love. You can see this in other parts of the extract. For example, love is a smoke raised with fumes of sighs. The metaphor of love being like smoke, something that you can see but is not tangible, showcasing that while Romeo's love is real, it isn't tangible to anything, as his is not reciprocated. The fume of sighs showing the desperation and relentlessness of his anguish, it polluting the air around him and others. You can pause the video again to have a look for yourself and see if there's any other bits of literary devices, themes being shown that I have missed. Is the scene just about unrequited love, or is there something else here? How does the poetic language further emphasise the anguish that is being shown? And what specific lines have intrigued you? Thank you for watching, and good luck with the activity and your GCSEs.